Hey Leo, before we start today's episode, quick question. Imagine you need to ask your professor something after class. What do you say?
Oh, easy. I say, excuse me, I have a question.
That's exactly what I expected you to say, and it's what most learners say. But here's the thing, native English speakers almost never start a question with, I have a question.
Wait, really? But that's what they taught me in school. I have a question. It's like the first thing you learn.
I know. And look, it's not wrong grammatically, it's correct English, but it sounds a bit direct, a little abrupt. Imagine you're at your professor's office door. They're sitting there looking at their computer. You say, I have a question. It puts pressure on them. It sounds like a demand.
Huh, I never thought of it that way. So what should I say instead?
Today, we're going to give you 3 phrases that sound much more natural. They show respect, they show you've already thought about the issue, and they make you sound like a confident English speaker, not a textbook. Ready?
Let's do it. I need this.
Welcome to Speak Like a Native. I'm Maya.
And I'm Leo. Let's get into it.
All right, Leo. Here's our first phrase. Instead of I have a question, try this. I had a question about.
I had a question about. Okay, I notice you use past tense. I had not, I have.
Exactly. That's the key. I had a question about the homework. It sounds softer, less demanding. You're saying, I had this thing in my mind and I'm bringing it up now, but I'm not demanding your immediate attention.
So it's like you're sharing something from earlier, not making a request right now.
Perfect. You got it. Let me give you a real example. You're at a professor's office hours. They're grading papers. You knock. They look up. You say, Hi, Professor. I had a question about last week's lecture.
I had a question about last week's lecture.
How does that feel compared to I have a question?
It feels nicer, less aggressive, like I'm not rushing them.
That's the feeling. Now, here's the thing. This phrase works for many situations. You can use it in emails too. Dear Professor, I had a question about the assignment.
And emails too?
Absolutely. It's more polite. And let me tell you a common mistake I hear from Chinese speakers. They often say, I have a small question, which sounds a bit like you're minimizing your own question. Using I had a question about is much more natural.
What about Spanish speakers? Any common mistake there?
Oh, good question. Spanish speakers sometimes translate directly. Tengo una vergüenza becomes I have a question, and they use it very directly. So same issue. For Arabic speakers, the challenge is often the opposite. They tend to be very elaborate and polite, sometimes too formal. I had a question about gives them a natural middle ground.
So this is really universal. Everybody needs this.
Everybody needs this. Now let me give you a second example. You're in a chemistry class. The professor just explained a complex formula. You're a bit confused. What do you say?
I had a question about the formula you just explained.
Great. Now you could also say, I wasn't sure if I understood the second part correctly.
Ah, that's the second phrase. I wasn't sure if.
Exactly. I wasn't sure if this is fantastic because it shows you were paying attention. You tried to understand, but you're not 100% confident. It's humble. It shows effort.
So instead of saying I don't understand, you say I wasn't sure if.
Right. I don't understand can sound like you weren't listening, or like the professor explained badly, but I wasn't sure if puts the uncertainty on you. Like I'm sure the explanation was good, I just need a little help.
That's so smart. Give me an example.
Okay, you're in a history class. The professor talks about the French Revolution. You raise your hand and say, I wasn't sure if the economic factors were the main cause, or if there were other reasons.
I wasn't sure if the economic factors were the main cause or if there were other reasons.
See? You sound like someone who has been thinking. You sound serious. The professor will respect that.
I love this. And it's not just for class, right?
Not at all. You can use it at work. I wasn't sure if the deadline was this Friday or next Monday. It sounds much better than when is the deadline.
Okay, I'm already using that today. What's the third phrase?
The third is for when you need a deeper explanation. It's could you clarify?
Could you clarify?
Yes. And there's a more formal version. could you elaborate on?
Wait, what's the difference?
Great question. Could you clarify means make it clearer. Use this when something was confusing or unclear. Could you elaborate means give me more details. Use this when you understood the basic idea but want more depth.
So clarify is for confusion, elaborate is for more information.
You've got it. Example, the professor says something about quantum physics that you totally didn't follow. You say, could you clarify the part about wave-particle duality?
Could you clarify the part about wave-particle duality?
Perfect. Now, you understood the basics, but you want to go deeper. You say, could you elaborate on how this applies to real-world technology?
Could you elaborate on how this applies to real-world technology? Okay, I see the difference now. Clarify, make it simple. Elaborate, give me more.
Exactly. And here's a pro tip. If you're not sure whether to use clarify or elaborate, just use could you explain a bit more about. That's always safe.
Always safe. I like that.
Now here's the part that surprises most people. Leo, I want you to try something for me.
Okay, I'm ready.
I want you to imagine you're in a biology class. The professor just finished explaining cell division, mitosis, and meiosis. You're confused about one specific step. Use one of our phrases.
Okay, let me try. Hi, Professor. I had a question about the mitosis process. I wasn't sure if the chromosomes split during the first phase or the second. Could you clarify that part?
Beautiful. That was perfect. You used all three phrases naturally in one sentence. I had a question about, I wasn't sure if, could you clarify?
It felt natural. I didn't even think about it.
That's the goal. Now let me give you a real-life scenario where most learners make a mistake. Imagine you're in a professor's office hours. There are other students waiting. You want to ask something quickly.
Most learners would say, can I ask a quick question?
You're reading my mind. Yes. Can I ask a quick question? This is very common, but it puts the professor in an awkward position. They can't say no, but you're implying your question will be quick, and sometimes questions aren't quick.
So what should I say instead?
Do you have a moment for a question? Or, I had a quick question about the reading, if you have a second.
I had a quick question about the reading, if you have a second. That's much softer.
Yes, you're giving them an out. You're not demanding their time. That's respectful.
Interesting. So the whole philosophy here is, don't demand, offer.
That's a great way to put it. In English, especially in academic settings, politeness is about not imposing. You show you respect their time. You show you've done the work. You show humility.
That's so different from some cultures. In some countries, being direct is seen as confident. In English, it can sound rude.
Exactly right. And this is why so many international students struggle in American universities. They think they're being polite, but their phrasing sounds too direct.
So let me practice one more time. This time, imagine I'm talking to my advisor about my research paper.
Go for it.
Hi, Dr. Chen. I had a question about my thesis outline. I wasn't sure if the methodology section should come before the literature review. Could you clarify which order works best?
Leo, that was excellent. You sound like a serious, thoughtful student. Any professor would be happy to help you.
Thanks. It feels so much better than I have a question.
Quick reminder for everyone listening. If you find this episode helpful, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We drop a new episode every single day, and we want to help you sound more natural in every conversation.
This is honestly the most useful English advice I've gotten. I've been saying I have a question for years.
We all learn these phrases in textbooks, but real English is different, and that's what we're here for.
So let me summarize what we learned today. 3 phrases. I had a question about. I wasn't sure if. Could you clarify, elaborate on?
Exactly. And one key idea, be humble, not demanding. Show you've thought about it, respect their time.
Okay, I'm ready. Challenge me. Give me a hard situation.
All right, you're in a physics class. The professor just spent 20 minutes explaining quantum entanglement. You understood about half of it. You need help. Go.
Okay. Professor, I had a question about quantum entanglement. I wasn't sure if I understood how the particles communicate across distance. Could you clarify that mechanism?
Haha, perfect. You know what I love about that? You said mechanism. That's a great academic word. Very appropriate.
I'm trying.
Now, let me give you one more bonus tip. What do you say when you walk into the professor's office and they're clearly busy?
Sorry, am I interrupting?
Good. But even better, is this a good time? Or do you have a moment?
Is this a good time? That's simple.
Simple and respectful. If they say yes, then you start with your phrase. Great, I had a question about,
And if they say no,
then you say no problem. When would be better? And you schedule a time. That's it.
that's so mature, so professional.
That's how native speakers do it. Now, let me address a mistake that many Korean speakers make. In Korean, it's common to start a question with something like podgiyo, which translates to excuse me, but sounds a bit like hey in English. So Korean speakers often say excuse me very directly. Instead, combine it with one of our phrases, excuse me, I had a question about the homework.
That works for everyone, doesn't it? Excuse me plus the phrase.
It does. But don't overuse excuse me. Once is enough. If you say excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, it sounds urgent and a little rude.
Good to know.
Here's another common error. Learners from many backgrounds say, please explain me instead of, could you explain to me? That's wrong. It's always explain to me.
Could you explain to me how this works? Not explain me.
Exactly. So if you catch yourself saying, explain me, stop. Add to.
I'll remember that.
Now, let's do a final practice round. I'll give you a situation, and you respond with the best phrase.
Let's go.
Situation 1. You're in a literature class. The professor talked about symbolism in a novel. You didn't understand one specific symbol.
I had a question about the symbol of the green light in The Great Gatsby. I wasn't sure if it represented hope or something else. Could you clarify?
Excellent. Situation 2. You're at office hours. The professor is typing on their computer. You don't want to interrupt too much.
Is this a good time? I had a quick question about the assignment.
Beautiful. Situation 3. You understood the main idea of the lecture, but you want a deeper explanation.
Could you elaborate on the connection between economic theory and real-world policy?
Leo, I am so proud of you. That was perfect.
I feel like a different English speaker already.
You are. And everyone listening can be too. The key is just replacing one or two phrases. That's all it takes to sound more natural.
So, today's takeaway. Swap, I have a question for. I had a question about. Swap, I don't understand, for I wasn't sure if. And use could you clarify or could you elaborate when you need more help?
Write those down, practice them, use them tomorrow, and you will notice a difference.
Thanks, Maya. This was incredibly helpful.
My pleasure, Leo. And thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave a review. It helps other learners find us.
See you in the next episode.
Keep practicing, stay curious, and remember, real English is about connection, not perfection. Speak like a native, not a textbook. See you next time.